Where to begin? I guess let's talk about, I suppose, how it felt.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. Because we remember feelings.
We remember feelings. Phum is so kind. Being around his presence, I just feel like I can be myself. And I appreciate about him so much, in just our friendship as well as the interview. Like, it's totally acceptable to come as you are. And I don't think that feeling is not normal for a lot of people, but it should be something that's normal in our world, right? To be allowed to be yourself and to be accepted as you are, even if people don't always understand you. I feel like, Phum might not always get what I do or what I say, but he's like, it's okay, and you're like, oh, it's okay. And that kind of settledness or stillness and grounding that he has in that, it's contagious. Things that he shared or the wisdom that he has for other people, I feel like he's been through all of it. He didn't just share like something he read on the internet, like once he's passed through it, he's experienced it himself and he shares it with other people, it has that extra weight to it. And that's what I felt like. I felt like, oh, he's really sharing his heart with us and not just words or actions. And I think we need more of that. We need people to be able to share their experience without it having to be a certain way.
Yeah.
I
love that. That's powerful.
Yeah. We love our little packages, don't we? Like, it has to look like this, it has to come in this form. We do that to ourselves, we do that to other people, but in reality, there is no one size fits all, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Where do you think that comes from?
You mean the freedom? Or
the packages.
The packages.
The feeling that we should do that, need to do that.
We just get scared of things we don't understand. And a lot of the human experience is so messy that we feel like we don't understand it. And so it's prettier if it comes in this way. Like, success should look like this. Good people should look like this, or talent should look like this, and then we think, okay, now I have a standard. It also makes it easier sometimes to have a path that's already made out for you instead of having to discover your own.
Totally.
Going, okay, that's how you become this, or that's how you reach this certain point in your life, is to do as everybody else does or expects you to do. And it's not wrong per se in the sense to have a pre-made conception or a plan, because that's often what goals are, right? Or dreams or aspirations. Like, this is what I hope to achieve or hope to become. It's not wrong. But when we use that word boxes or like constrictions, it's like, I can't be anything other than that, or it can't happen any other way than that. And suddenly you're constricting your human experience to something that you're trying to control so hard. And oftentimes you won't be able to control it, and that's where we get anxious and stressed out or disappointed or angry, and not that negative emotions are wrong either, but that's where we usually make bad decisions.
Yeah.
I'm so stressed that I have to fix it or have to manipulate it, or I just know that from my own life, because I have so many, I want to be this way, and then realize, oh, but what if it's not that way? Am I okay with it?
Yeah, I think that's such a good point of like how we are all so unique, yet when we feel like we need to be packaged up or put in a box, of course that's going to cause like stress and pressure when you're trying to fit a round peg into a square hole.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people will probably be able to relate to that, of feeling like, oh, the world, society says that there should be this progression or this path of doing this and then this, like school, work, all these things. And if people are going through that, yet feeling like something's still missing because they're not meant for that package, then yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of like internal feelings of, oh, is something wrong with me? Why isn't it working the way that I want it to?
Yeah. You use a really good image. It kind of made me think of like, sometimes though, we may be a round peg trying to get through a square hole, but we have no idea that we're actually round. Because I should be a square. You know what I mean? Like there's this sense of it's not fitting, and not realizing it's not because of you not trying hard or not being good enough. It's actually that you weren't made that way, but you perceive yourself to be what you expect it to be.
Yeah.
You know, how would if I was having that experience and I was like, Max, like just not fitting into the expectation of what I think I should be, how would you help me realize I was a round peg?
I think one would be listening to those frustrations that you have of like, okay, I've been trying to do it this way, yet I still feel like something's off or missing. And I think it goes back to what we've talked about in some episodes already of like listening to our emotions and trusting that, oh, this might be telling me something about, you know, something's off. Maybe I'm not supposed to be living this way, or this thing that I think I need to do isn't working, yet I'm still trying to force myself to do it, and it's causing frustration or self-doubt or just a lot of criticism. And yeah, the whole idea of being a round peg, trying to fit into like a square, it makes me think about identity and how, you know, we're trying to identify as something that we're maybe not. And so your question of like, how would I work with someone, or what would I tell someone? I think, yeah, it would take just some questions of like figuring out who you are. Exploring, a lot of exploration. And being okay with not being the way that we think we should be. Yeah, there's a lot of pressure to conform, yet also these days a lot of pressure to be like, be yourself. So I think it's such a good question of how do we figure out who we are.
Who am I? Yeah. I think it makes me think of a practical exercise that we were talking about earlier. Is a lot of times when people come to coaching, they're so focused on something that they don't want or don't like, that they don't even have the tools in their mind to practice finding what they do want and they do like. Like, I really don't like that I feel this way, or I really don't like that I'm having these kinds of results in my life or in my workplace or in my relationships or my family. And the tool that we were talking about is from Napoleon Hill's like law of success, which is that everything kind of follows this not formula, but I would say like a process, that what you believe creates these thoughts that you have, and the thoughts that you're thinking create how you feel. And when how you feel is this energy that you use to take actions, and then actions are what create the results in your life. So if you don't like the results in your life, you can actually look at this process that you've been through of like, all right, I don't like this result. What kind of actions have I been doing that create this? What kind of feelings are causing me to take action like this? What kind of thoughts are behind those feelings? And what beliefs are creating those thoughts? And then you can say, oh, once I see the belief that's behind the whole process, do I want to change it? Is it working out for me? Is it benefiting me? Is it based in fear? Is it based in love? And once you see it, you're able to start the process all over again. Okay, I no longer believe this thing that's been hindering me, so I'm going to change the way I think, the way I feel, the way I take action, and then you're going to ultimately have different results in life. And I think that sometimes doing that exercise feels really awkward, because it's like, I like to write it down because it helps. When you think it through, it's too fast, but when you write it down, it helps you take one step at a time.
Yeah.
And it reveals things that are really uncomfortable. Like, I I don't like this certain result I'm having in my workplace, but to be able to follow the thoughts and the feelings all the way back to a belief, it takes a lot of responsibility. Like, oh, I'm the one creating this result because I was trying to prove something because I needed to be validated, or I needed to be worthy, or I needed to be good enough. And it's uncomfortable because it's easier to go, oh, I don't like this feeling. I don't like this result, and just let it be that. Instead of having the empowerment to say, I'm the one behind it all. I'm the one that created it all with the way that I believe and the way that I think and feel. And it's a responsibility, but then it also brings so much freedom.
Totally.
So much freedom.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, the idea is to, if some result isn't the way that we want in our life, is to kind of track that back to a specific belief that we have, and then from there shift that belief.
I forget who teaches it, but there is an example where somebody's holding on to a rock really hard because they believe that it's gold. And so throughout life, whatever they're doing, they always hold on to this rock, and it's quite hindering because you're holding on to something with your hand, right? And as soon as they open their hand, they see that, oh, it's not gold. An immediate reflex is just to let it go. And I think sometimes that's exactly the way our beliefs are. Like, we don't believe bad things or wrong things or hindering things on purpose, right? We're not self-sabotaging, really. But it's just that we don't know that that's what we're believing and we're holding on to because somewhere along the way we were taught that this is really precious. I think the most common belief that hinders us is that we have to be perfect in order to be loved, or to be good enough to receive love. And I think those kind of beliefs, it's like, that's golden. I have to keep that because it's going to cause me to be the best. It's going to cause me to make all the right decisions. And it seems like a golden thing. But then when you see it for what it really is, oh, the need to be perfect is not a human possibility at all. And I can be completely and fully loved just as I am, perfect or imperfect. You just see it, and then no one has to teach you how to get rid of that belief. You're just like, oh, I don't want that anymore.
Right.
I really want this, which is to be fully myself, to be fully embraced as I am. And you're like, oh, I'll pick that thing up. Like, automatically our nature is to choose what's best for us. It's just about learning how to find the way to see that whole process, to be able to step back from the emotion of it and say, oh, I was believing that for so long. It's time to let it go, right? Yeah.
Powerful. This also connects the idea of like identity to me, and how sometimes these beliefs that we're looking at have been formed at a really young age, and have really been, there's a lot of evidence that we've created through our actions of like, from this belief it led to whatever actions we've taken in our life. And so when we are able to identify what this belief is, it still will take some work to start acting from that belief. So one thing I guess I could also recommend is like, okay, once you come up with that belief, maybe the next day in the morning you're like, okay, from this new belief of I don't have to be perfect, I can kind of act when I don't feel ready, or I can show up messy. What would some actions, maybe 3 actions that I could take today from this new belief look like? And as you are taking these actions and doing these steps, it's like building evidence to support this new belief that you want. And I think the more you do that, the more steps you take from that belief, the new belief that you want, you're just strengthening it and reinforcing it.
Yeah, that's so right, because it's I mean, scientifically we'd say it's like creating a new neural pathway, right? A new pattern for your brain, because you've been in that old behavior for so long. But something you said raises a question for me. Let's say it's not easy for someone to find a new belief. You see the old belief that's not working out and you want to change it, but you don't know what to believe in place of it, right? You don't know what the new behavior should come from. what would you recommend for people who, okay, I see the old belief, but I don't really know how to find something to replace it? What would you say?
Yeah, you kind of touched on this when you're talking about like fear before, how a lot of these beliefs maybe come from fear. And so I think one would just to be the question of, okay, what's the opposite of this disempowering belief? Maybe like, oh, I need to be perfect. The opposite would be like, I don't have to be perfect, or I can be imperfect. But yeah, I think that shift from something that's maybe coming from fear to something that is more loving is one great step.
Yeah.
And I think there are some basic ones that most people could take on that would be more empowering, like, I'm enough, I'm worthy to show up as I am, a few things like that.
Yeah, you're gonna get good results from those.
Exactly.
Anyway, yeah.
For sure.
You also kind of touched on like how these beliefs, they have the evidence of us repeating it over and over from probably childhood for some of the beliefs, right? I mean, I know for myself, even yesterday, having a conversation with my brothers and realizing, oh, I've had that pattern in me or that belief in me since I was young. But I don't know when it started. Like, doesn't matter if I know how or when it started, as long as I can see it now. And a lot of like people who talk about wellness or mental health, they use the word like inner child, going back to your inner child. And I kind of feel like it's that sense of going to a place where your heart was pure enough to accept yourself as it is. Like, you didn't need to have all those expectations, or you didn't need to have those conformities or restrictions yet at that time. Like that I love you so much as you are, little child kind of thing. I think that's something that is very helpful to me as well when it comes to like, I wouldn't have believed that as a young, pure, joyful child. I wouldn't have limited myself that way, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like you're very good at teaching about the inner child. So, I don't know, can you give us some practical ways to maybe get in touch with that purity?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I think what you're touching on is this sense of purity and this like childlike state. I feel like there's so many things. One is
so
like
big.
bringing up those old memories from the past where maybe we felt childlike, like we could play, and reconnecting to that part of us. And honestly, just sitting with that, like letting that play in the imagination could be fun. Could put us into that state again of childlike wonder. One thing that I've done in the past is kind of just to journal and to write a letter to my inner child and just like say hello and be like, just try to communicate with it and
It's like reconnecting,
see what comes up.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
What about you? Do you have anything for that in reconnecting?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a lot that we practice in like post-trauma therapy about finding where you feel safe. And I think that inner child is kind of a key to that. Like a lot of memories of being a beloved, helpless, baby. I mean, I hope and pray that every baby in the world is just loved for being alive, you know what I mean? But that there's you don't do anything for me. All you do is sleep and poop and eat, you know that. But you're completely unconditionally loved. And that is a place of safety where like you don't need to perform to be loved.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that inner child is in all of us, that we were made and created or designed to be unconditionally loved. And then as we created or developed this brain where it goes, yes, but I also need to prove this 1, 2, 3 before that can happen, right? It's very healing to go back to memories or to even imagine, where do I feel the most safe and the most loved, and kind of thinking, if I was feeling that way, or if I was in that position, what kind of decisions would I make, right? Like if I am aware that right now I'm making decisions based out of fear. And then you take your mind to a place, whether it's a memory or just something you made up, where you feel so unconditionally loved and safe. You're able to kind of like almost not trick your mind, but create a new lens or perspective to view what's happening in your life from a completely different place, right?
Yeah.
An empowered place, a safe place where, okay, I have more options, I have more support, I have more clarity because I'm no longer afraid. I'm no longer stressed out or obligated or pressured, right? All of the things that happen to us so very often in life, right? I think that inner child is one word for it, but just saying like, maybe I felt safe last week. It could have been last week, and going, remember that time when I felt like I didn't have this fear, and then seeing, okay, how would I address this decision in front of me without that fear?
Yeah.
Can help.
That's so powerful, and I think it can help really open up how people are seeing their lives. You talk about, being in this state of fear and stress, and that really like narrows our focus, narrows like the possibilities that we can see in life. And so it's so powerful to kind of take that step back, find that memory that feels safe, and then to maybe take another look at your situation, and a lot of stuff will probably open up.
Yeah. I guess to summarize, the whole thing is just realizing that we have certain behaviors or patterns that we get stuck in just because we're unaware of them.
Yeah.
And if you're in a place where you're trying to discover who you are, what you love, what you want to do, it has to come from a place of safety and purity of heart, because otherwise we're just catering to certain fears or pressures, right? And it's exhausting. It's exhausting to try to conform to what we think we need to be or we think we need to do. And I know it takes some effort to take the time and the space to see those things, but I believe that it can be really life-changing. And ultimately, if we all did that, imagine what kind of world we would live in, where like we were living in complete freedom from our fears or from our criticisms, and just going, I do this because I am fully who I am and I love it, and I'm full of joy and freedom. Like, I think it can change a lot. It can change a lot. Yeah.
Sounds pretty amazing.
I know.
I would love that.
Starts with us. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to say?
I think we said some great things, and we left everyone with some practical things to go try.
A lot. To be honest, if I was watching this for the first time, it might be a lot. So, yeah,
just pick one thing and seriously try it. Like, you might be skeptical about, will really connecting to this memory do anything for me? But just give it a shot. See what comes up.
Yeah, I think these practical tips that we're doing may seem like that doesn't sound practical. It sounds like a lot of work. Probably might feel that way for a while. Like doing something new, especially working on your heart or your mindsets, it's uncomfortable because it's new. But it's also something I think we're all craving really deeply. And so once you start doing it, you go, this is so natural. I love to love myself. I love to be free from my fears and to discover what I love. Like, it's a joy to discover what you love. So have that hope on the other side of it, that this might feel like hard work to work on myself, but I'm going to find an immense amount of joy on the other side of it. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I guess just adding to that and maybe a little share would be, when I did start my own inner child work and trying to reconnect with myself, it's like, for me, I feel like I grew up quite disconnected from that. And like any person-to-person relationship, if one part of me, like my inner child, has felt neglected, it will take some time for most people for that part to open up. And so at first it will be uncomfortable to be like, hi little Max, like, are you okay in there? I'm here for you. And sometimes that's all. Maybe nothing else will come up. But just starting is important, because that connection with ourselves is what ultimately leads to that circle in the circle hole, and feeling like you have that identity that is really you.
Yeah. Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Nice.
So good, Max.
Thank you. Well done.
Hi, little Max.
Hi. I miss you.
I miss you. Aww.